Hey everyone, I'm Nato King, and previously on Folklore, Scarecrow told us that we need to go talk to the Faery Lord to find out what's going on in the fairy realm. So let's go do that. You know, that's just what I was about to do. And I think we all remember the Faery Lord is at the top of the creepy staircase. This time we actually get to go in. And this fairy over here will tell us the last few things we need to know about this realm. I thought we got the memories of the dead because we absorbed the folklore. So now we've got a name for this phenomenon of the fairy world disappearing because people forget about it. And that's the Fairy Lord over there. We'll talk to him in a bit. I guess that makes sense. Anyway, just checking back here to see if there's any secrets. There's probably not going to be. There's no treasure chests in this game. We finally get the last page of the picture book. It might seem kinda silly, but remember that at this point in the story, Ellen still doesn't know that Keats has entered the Netherworld. Yeah, see, that's the way I thought it worked. I didn't think the audience chamber was keyed to the folklore, but it looks like we suck up Bugaboo in one of those tentacles, use Ogma to cut them off, and then Boobry attacks the flower on its back. So, almost completely different from the way that Keats fought it. Yet another creepy laugh. Gotta love it. And before I go fight the folklore too much, I should probably save. But first... yeah, the fairies haven't really told me anything yet. I got all that from the picture book. This is the fairy who will tell me a little more about how to fight it. It's pretty much what we got from the picture book. Yeah, Keats would find 12 pukas in the next room. Ellen's gonna find 15 Kilmulas. Yeah, I think we've seen enough of that in the bonus videos, the grinding videos that I did. Alright, that's the last of the tutorials for the chapter. Let's go take on some Kilmulas. Now, you might remember if you watched the grinding video that I've still got 1 karma left to unlock for Boobry. I need to use 10 green dusts, and right now I've only got 3. But Kilmulas is the folk that gives us green dust. So if I can get an appreciable number of them here, then I'll be able to build up the karma, and since Boobry is the folk that I'm going to be using to do the actual damage to Cernunnos, that seems kind of important. On the other hand, these guys don't drop green dust very often, but when you're fighting 15 of them at a time, there's a lot more opportunities. There's one right now. Of course, I'll have to leave and return to this screen many times. Not usually a big deal, especially if we've got a folk that I'm trying to build up by defeating a large number of small folks. 15 is a pretty large number of almost anything. But as you can see, I've got a couple more green dusts, so I'm now halfway there. And one of these crystals, I believe, always contains a large health drop. So there's very little danger of me running out of health. Purple stone is something I'm going to need in the future, I'm sure. And now, just to leave the screen and come back multiple times until I've got all the green dust that I need. Of course, I'm going to cut all that out. There was one other formation in that room that was a bunch of Henki and just a couple of Kilmulas. Not really worth showing. I think I maybe got 1 green dust out of that one. I know I've kind of laughed at Bugaboo before, because it doesn't seem all that useful on the surface. But honestly, in groups of enemies like this, it's great. And look at how many of them it can hit at once. And just to catch you up on the green dust collection, I think I've got 9 of them at this point. Go ahead and get that magic stone out of the way so I can attack freely. And get cornered by as many kill moves as possible. There's number 10. And by a funny coincidence, I get another one right after. I was kind of hoping this last guy would give me one too, just to put the icing on the cake, but I've got all I need. Extra attack power will be great for the folk that I'm using to do all of the attacking against the boss. So, without stopping to save first, let's go straight in and fight Cernunnos. Of course, the start is pretty much exactly what we're familiar with. Same cutscene, same model, completely new sets of attacks and animations. And this time, he actually whips at Ellen with those tentacles. And I'm attempting to get him to suck up a Bugaboo and get it stuck in the tentacle, but that's not going to happen. He also sticks up branches in a line going across the swamp straight at Ellen, but here's the opportunity I was waiting for. And that doesn't seem to have had any effect. Alright, well, I'll just dodge the fire and wait for another opportunity. Probably gotta do this multiple times. Here's the branches. I actually saw them coming out of the corner of the screen that time. Most of the time I end up missing them. Yeah, Bugaboo is not doing anything. I guess maybe I actually have to charge it up before it gets sucked up so that it's big enough to block a tentacle. So, trying to time it properly. Hold it. And it just gets swallowed. I'm clearly doing something wrong. And this is about the point when I realized that. Saw that I'm not making any progress and thought, maybe the picture in the book was a Barghest, even though this is not a folk that stands there and uses its attack. It's much bigger. That's good at clogging the tentacles. And now all I gotta do is use Ogma enough times to cut it before it recovers. And finally, we're halfway done with the first phase. This is me not noticing that I'm being attacked by branches. But I think we're about done here. And now it's time to move on to the second phase, where we've already seen we need to use Boobry, because we don't have any fire elemental attacks. And I think it's safe to assume that this phase of the fight, at least, is the same between Ellen and Keats. It spits these exploding beehives at us, and then we use Boobry to attack it, but Since Booberry is a longer range attack, I figured I would actually need to be at an appreciable distance, which just got me attacked by those branches. You don't actually need to use an attack to destroy the branches, and you can simply summon Booberry right through them. But they'll go away on their own after a while. I think my attack landing at the same time they did before was just a coincidence. And it is possible to run right up the ramp there. Or wait until the branches come up and then attack from a distance. Now, it's time for the capture, but this is where the technological issues that I've had earlier in the LP caught up with me. Because twice, my controller lost connection with the console while I was trying to capture this thing, and it does completely reset. I don't believe it's possible to defeat any Folklore by doing enough damage to it. You have to do the stun damage and capture it. That's just a story thing. I thought this run was at least worth showing because I managed to stay up on the ramp the whole time. And this is the capture after I had unplugged my charge cable, thinking maybe that'll keep my controller connected to the console long enough for me to capture this thing. I don't know, I guess the USB port at the top got jerked around because there was a cord in it. Whatever, this is the successful run. You've seen all there is to see about Cernunnos from two different characters' perspectives at this point, and it's all about story now. So I guess canonically, Ellen and Keats both defeated Cernunnos independently. And one thing I didn't notice until this point in the game is that the costumes actually appear in the cutscenes, except for the very few pre-rendered ones. So I guess we've learned a couple things at this point. It was Ryan, the lighthouse keeper, who brought the news of whatever happened to Hervé. And he didn't die from whatever was going to be killing him. We discovered that in the side quest that we observed as Keats. He was apparently sick and didn't have long to live, but he was murdered anyway, or at least Renaldo seems to think so. So we're going to need to look into what happened at the church, and meanwhile I do want to see what the other residents in the town have to say. Yeah, Charlotte seems pretty singularly focused on quests. Understandable, and I'm not sure there's a whole lot of other incentive for most people to go and do them, right? They've got rewards, but I've mostly gotten a bunch of upholstery nuts. There'll be better rewards later, of course. That's another detail we didn't get before. Hervé died on the night of Semaine. I'm not sure how you'd say it's deserted. There don't seem to be many of these houses that aren't occupied, at least by someone. I don't think we're going to get a whole lot of detail from anyone at this point, but it's all to set up Chapter 2. Well, someone's going out of his way to seem suspicious. I was kind of wondering whether maybe I ought to go straight to the beach and look for the bottle, but I figured I'd talk to Suzette first. Where's your evidence? Here's the evidence. Oh, I don't want to see your evidence. And we're at a familiar screen. This is actually where we started the game. And the beach was just down this path. Realize we haven't actually walked from the beach to the village, or vice versa at this point. Hey, what do you know? It is the bottle. Yeah, I just love that particular rendition of the opening theme. Anyway, we've now got a lead in Ryan the Lighthouse Keeper, as well as that whatever happened 17 years ago was at the church. But which of these two characters will be investigating that first as we move into Chapter 2 of the game? That's for you guys to decide. Cast your votes in the thread, and I'll see you next time.